How's it going? I'm Mike from Caffè Lusso in Redmond, Washington. We're excited to be at Seattle Coffee Gear here in Bellevue, and I'm going to show you how to make a Chemex at home. Chemex is actually a brewing method that's been around for quite a long time. A lot of people think it's just one of the newer, hipper ways to brew coffee, but it's actually been around for at least 30 to 40 years. And what's cool about it is it kind of looks like part science experiment, but at the end of the day, it's an excellent way to brew coffee. What we do is we take a special filter. It's basically a four-sided filter. As you can see, we're going to do three sides against the spout. And what that allows is for air to pass through, both in the brewing process as well as throughout the entire brewing method. And it's always important to take some of your hot water, and we have it at about 200 degrees, which is always the ideal brewing temperature. And what we do is we pass a little of this hot water over the filter to kind of get any of that papery taste or papery feel to it. But almost just as important is that we're also tempering the glass vessel. And essentially brewing hot coffee into a cold vessel means that your coffee will turn colder a lot faster. Once that's done, because of this nice spout, we'll just pour out the water. And then we have a nice hot vessel to brew in. We just roasted some espresso. Excuse me, I was actually going to do the Ethiopian Yirgacheffe here from Caffè Lusso. If you take a look at that beautiful stuff, we've ground it basically in the notch on the grinder between flat bottom and a paper cone. And as always, it's best to do things like this on a scale. We always supplied with tablespoons and things like that, but it's not an exact science. So when you use weight, it actually works out a lot better. What we're going to do is 44 grams of our Ethiopian Yirgacheffe Kochere, which is a micro lot in the Ethiopian region. Of the Yirgacheffe region of Ethiopia. And on my scale, I'm going to go to about 44 grams, and I'm going to use 700 milliliters of water. Scoop it out. And then what we're going to do is in the Chemex, we like to put just a little bit of I don't know if you want to call it a divot, so that it can capture some of the water. Again, if you go on YouTube and you watch other people brew under this method, you'll see a lot of people have some different nuances and ways that they like to do it. But this seems to be a pretty consistent method. First is get a little coffee in that divot. And it's kind of a pre-soak. I like to let it set for a few seconds as it sort of takes on, and you won't see a whole lot of coffee dripping into the carafe. There might be a little bit. And thanks to modern technology, we like to use our iPhone to keep track of our time. The entire brew method should take about 3 to 4 minutes. So I just set the stopwatch feature on my iPhone in this case, because a lot of people have phones that do that in order to kind of track the process. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start. And then in a circular motion, again, this is where some of the nuance is different. I like to go counterclockwise, which seems to be accepted pretty good. What we're trying to do is just kind of go from the outside and just slowly drip until we have 700 milliliters of water poured through. Again, we did 44 grams of coffee. And the way I know this is I know that I had 44 grams set on my scale, so when I get to 744, I happen to know that we've put enough water through the Chemex. As you can see on the camera, it's already dripping through on the bottom. In my mind, it seems like the Chemex has a little bit more of a viscosity, almost syrupy taste and texture to it. Some people think it's just the way the glass looks, but hey, who's to say? I think that this is a real fun way to brew coffee. Certainly at home, it brings out some of the more nuanced flavors of a good coffee, especially if you're dealing with a single origin or something a little bit more unique to your coffee program at home. The Chemex is a great way to pick up some of those secondary tasting notes and really enjoy the cup of coffee. We're at about 2 minutes of brewing process right now. Once we get in a probably 3.5 or so minute range, I think you'll find that most of the water has passed through, but certainly we can go up to 4. We're right about 4 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this off, and you'll see just a little bit of water that is passing through still. Not much. Whoop. Put in my trusty garbage can. Wipe as I go, as my mom used to teach me. And this is basically what a Chemex coffee looks like. I think it's a brilliant, beautiful way to serve coffee. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in this nice Seattle Coffee Gear glass. Nice spout. And a beautiful cup of coffee. Again, it's still going to be just a little bit under probably 200 degrees, so it's going to be a little bit warm. And so letting it cool down for a few seconds might be nice, but sometimes it's hard for me to wait because I'm impatient that way and I want to taste good coffee. Delicious. Again, that's our Ethiopian Yirgacheffe Kocheri coffee, and it is from Caffè Lusso in Redmond, Washington, and we're happy to be at Seattle Coffee Gear doing a demo. Thanks.